You know, you gotta remember, it's like I said yesterday, you know, it's like Scooby-Doo. Of course the dog can talk. We don't ask questions. It's like, so we say, meanwhile, Death reaches up and grabs the sun. You know, he grabs the sun, and the sun is struggling to get away from him, and he's, for whatever the reason, he squeezes it, and the sun is starting to get sick here, throwing up. The sun sort of vomits. Now these weird, sort of brain guys are somehow driving by in the distance, and they say, hey, did you see that? It suddenly just got way fucking dark. So they said, let's go see what happened. And they notice the sun has gone back down, and it's looking weird. And he says, it looks like the sun is sick. And they are sort of despairing. He says, Jesus, and you can see it sort of blobbing away there. But they act immediately. They said, that's too much, we must act. So they take off the lids of their weird heads, and their brains pop out of their bodies. They pop out, leaves their bodies a little bit unanimated there. And the brains, according to this anyway, begin to grow. You can see the brains getting bigger and bigger, and the unanimated bodies just there. The brains are becoming giant. They become super giant brains that are going over the horizon, off to rescue the sun. They sound like my kind of guys. But anyway, so they approach Death as he's wrestling with the vomiting sun, and Death is pissed off. He says, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And they realize, Jesus, and Death is bigger than they thought. So they have to come up with a plan quick. So they get behind the sun and Death, and they sort of creep up behind him because he's holding the sun, and you know, he's wrestling there. He says, what the fuck? So they crawl up on him, and they're very smart little brains, and they jump right into his fucking eye socket, you know. And somehow, luckily, this works, and Death, you know, he suddenly lets go of the sun for just a second to fix his eye socket, and the sun escapes. The sun escapes Death's grip. I forgot to put the word sun in there. And so they're inside of his head there, and you can see him reaching in. He reaches in, and he squishes one of them pretty badly there. Pulls him out, and he's reaching in to find the other one, and the other one jumps out the other fucking eye socket. You know, he gets out while the other one looks kind of bad. Death throws him down, and while he's laying there injured, the other brain comes to help him, and Death kind of walks away with a sore eye. Now, sadly, at the end of the thing, we can see that they've traveled a long ways. There's been a lot of blood and suffering, and the one brain is trying to help the other, but I think he's starting to see that it's not working. And he finally is starting to give up, and the other brain is bleeding to death, and he despairs a little bit, and his friend is dead. And in the last panel here, we see him sadly kind of walking away. Death kind of won in the end, didn't he? He didn't get the sun, but he got somebody there.